Welcome back to another Steam Deck video on Plays 2K. Thank you for joining me. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what we want to see from a Steam Deck 2. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving my Steam Deck 1, but the second the Steam Deck 2 is announced, I am buying it day one because this is literally my favorite console of all time as of right now. Because I've done a lot of cool things over the weekend with this, like dual booting Windows and SteamOS on the SSD, like setting up EmuDeck and the emulation station, and I love this thing even more. Let's get into the video. Let's talk about Steam Deck 2. Let's go. So guys, XDA developers posted a very interesting topic because I think it's a topic that's on all our minds when it comes to the Steam Deck. What would we want to see from a Steam Deck 2.0? And I hope, Valve, if you're listening, I hope you're not going to take too long in pushing out a new Steam Deck. Because if you release a new Steam Deck every year, I will buy another one every year. I'm not kidding, because I love it so much. Anyways, 10 improvements I'd want to see from the Steam Deck 2. This article was from Adam Conway on XDA developers. The Steam Deck is a fun handheld console, but there's a few features we'd love to see in a potential successor. Now, before I even read this list, I'm going to hope that an OLED screen is on that list, because after playing the Switch OLED, guys, it's hard to go back to a normal screen. The Switch OLED is so freaking beautiful. Anyways, let's see why Adam thinks. Let's see what Adam wants to see from the Steam Deck 2. So he says, I've been loving Valve's Steam Deck. It's fun to use, it's versatile, and it's an almost perfect system for on-the-go gaming or just lounging around the house. However, almost perfect obviously isn't actually perfect, and it's a great first draft. But for the Steam Deck 2, Valve could get some improvements in. Valve hasn't announced or even hinted at potential Steam Deck successor, but there are some changes and improvements we'd love to see in a new handheld. Number 1. The Steam Deck 2 needs an OLED display! Yes! Come on! That has to be the number one, improvement. I mean, they've got to source the same OLED screen as the Nintendo Switch OLED. They have to find a way to make it possible. OLED screens are all the rage these days. Even Nintendo released a Switch OLED version last year, and it's easy to see why. OLED screens produce deeper blacks, better contrast ratios, and just tend to produce better images overall. They also tend to be better when playing games or watching movies in the dark, since black scenes will look truly black. The Steam Deck's LCD doesn't look bad. In fact, it looks quite good, but it's no secret that the screen has issues such as light bleed. So that's a given, an OLED screen on the Steam Deck. Let me know in the comments if you want to see an OLED screen, and also let me know in the comments what things you want to see in the Steam Deck too, because I'm genuinely curious. I'm gonna be hovering over the comment section of this video, waiting for you guys to comment and let me know. So OLED, boom. Higher refresh rate options would be great. Yes. I don't think the Steam Deck can really utilize a higher refresh rate screen right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very powerful for what it is. Unless you're playing something like Vampire Survivors or some sort of 2D emulation game, you're not really going to get the most out of higher refresh rates, at least with this iteration. But when they move on to the next version of AMD's RDNA 2.1 or whatever processor, that can maybe support higher frame rates, then definitely this would be greatly appreciated, because I think I value frame rate over quality every time, just because I want that smoothness. I'm not a fan of playing at 30 frames. While not every game needs to be a high refresh rate, it's common for users to tweak those settings, whether they want to drop it to 40 Hz to save battery, or to bump it up to 90 Hz, or even 144 Hz for the smoothest gameplay. It would be nice for the Steam Deck 2 to support a wider range of refresh rates, and for lower power games, it wouldn't be too detrimental to battery life. Yes. Absolutely. The Steam Deck 2 should be better in battery life. One of the biggest criticisms against the Steam Deck is its low battery life. If I play Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, I'll get anywhere between 2 hours and 2.5 hours of playtime. That is an issue. You can obviously tweak your frame rate, tweak your graphic settings, try and eke as much time out your Steam Deck as possible, but it does have a poor battery life compared to other things like the Nintendo Switch. But remember, it's a handheld gaming PC. It's literally a gaming PC in the palm of your hands, whereas the Nintendo Switch is very much like an ARM processor or something. In fact, well, I'm not sure. But the Nintendo Switch is definitely using older hardware that's not as powerful and therefore uses less battery life. Plus, they optimize, all the software for the Switch is designed to run on the Switch and be as be as optimized as possible for the Switch and its battery life. The more intense the game, the lower the battery life will be. Don't get me wrong, 2 hours is a lot of playtime, but I see myself having battery anxiety on a plane or a long car journey. Though either a bigger battery or a more efficient chipset, there are different ways to achieve this goal, and it'd be great to see Valve approach either one. Yes, bigger battery, better battery life, better CPU that doesn't use as much battery life, and we know that's possible because we see Apple release their new M1, M2 processors every other year, and they always tout that it's got better battery life because they've optimized the processor to be more efficient. So definitely better battery life, whether that be putting a bigger battery in it or maybe just optimizing the hardware. And I think OLED might help with the battery life. I'm not sure. Could be wrong. More USB or USB-C ports would be. But yes, that is one of my biggest. Oh, that's one of my biggest pain points, guys. Is that I might be getting an Nreal Air augmented reality pair of glasses that allows me to basically have a big virtual screen in front of me wherever, inside the glasses. And you could literally hook up the Steam Deck with one cable to these AR glasses and basically play any game you want. But the problem is battery life. The Steam Deck's going to essentially power the glasses, which is going to hurt the battery life of the Steam Deck even more. And then also you have to worry about the battery life running down even faster. So if we could get 2 USB-C ports, perhaps one where I could shove a USB drive into, and then one I could shove, I don't know, the charger into, so I could use more than one. I think it really needs more than one. If you look at consoles like the Neo 2, if you go check that out on Indiegogo, it has 3 USB-C ports. 2 of which are USB-C 4, which means it can use external graphics amplifiers, so you could basically hook it up to a eGPU and basically turn it into a literal desktop computer if you wanted it to. So that is definitely something I want to see. I want to see USB-C, more USB-C ports, and I want to see USB 4 with support for eGPUs, because that would be big. I mean, we know the AMD Ryzen 7 6800 can completely 100% support USB 4, and it can support eGPUs, so why not add it? It's just an extra couple of USB-C ports. Ideally 3. I would love to see 3 USB-C ports. If you look at the Neo, it's got 3, and it's nice to have options. So there we go. So yeah, given that the Steam Deck can be used almost exactly like a laptop, I'd love for the company to incorporate even just one extra USB-C port. Imagine if there was one on the top and the bottom. You could charge your device and plug something else into the other USB-C port at the same time. You can get third-party docks that give you more ports, or even the official expensive dock. But having that extra port would offer so much greater versatility than just trying to get the most out of the one and only USB-C port. And obviously, it goes without saying, it goes without saying the fact that if that USB-C port on your Steam Deck breaks, you're basically SOL, because you've got nothing else to plug into, right, to charge it. Better haptics would improve the overall experience on the Steam Deck. Completely agree. I think more haptics would definitely be good. Or better haptics. Something on par with like the PS5 DualSense controller would be lovely. That would be great. The haptics right now are a little bit weak. They're not bad, but they're definitely not the best either. To put it bluntly, the haptics on the Steam Deck just aren't very good. In fact, you'll only really feel them in the touchpads when scrolling, which seems to just tell the user that it's sensing an input. I wouldn't say I just feel them in the touchpad. I do feel them in the device as a whole. It's just, they're just not the most thumpy haptics. It's not the worst experience, but it can feel odd when playing games on the Steam Deck when I'm used to those same games vibrating a controller when I play them on my PC. Since the games already support them, Valve would just need to produce them more on the Steam Deck 2's end. An extra M2 slot means more storage. I don't know. An extra M2 slot, I think that's a bit unrealistic, but what I would want them to do is add or allow us to use full-sized M2 SSDs, like the ones you would put in your PS5, the ones you'd use in your gaming PC. I think the current NVMe SSD is I think it's an M2 2230, which is like a really short version of an NVMe SSD, and those are really hard to find, especially in larger sizes. So if they can accommodate a full-sized NVMe SSD, I think that would be a massive improvement, because they're more readily available. You could buy them in up to like 4 terabytes or more, and yeah, that would just make it easier for users that want to maybe upgrade their SSD. Yeah, I mean, I think once they release an M2 2230 2 terabyte SSD, which I think they're about to, I think it's Micron that are making it. I'm going to buy that as soon as possible because I need as much storage on my deck as possible. Now that I've got MU deck set up, now that I've got Windows and SteamOS dual booted on the SSD, I need as much storage as possible so I can get as many games as possible on it. eGPU support means more power. We covered that actually, funnily enough. External graphics amplifier support, which would be amazing. Just for future proofing, right? When your Steam Deck as a handheld becomes a little bit useless when, you know, obviously when it can't run the latest games anymore, can't run the games you want, you always have the option of just hooking it up to an external graphics amplifier and using it as like a dedicated desktop PC at some point, and have it, you know, have the Steam Deck provide the RAM, the CPU, and all the connectivity and, you know, inputs and stuff, and then basically just use a USB-C cable, hook it up to an eGPU, and have use whatever GPU you want, right? And just basically use it as an upgradable gaming PC at some point. That's definitely something I would love to see, since I know other handheld consoles in the same market, like the iNeo 2 and I believe the iNeo Air, potentially support this. More color options for the Switch. I would definitely love to see a transparent case. I know there's one company, if you watch one of my previous videos, you'll know that they're about to make a transparent clear back shell for the Switch. That is cool. I'm also not opposed to putting a skin on it. So I don't think they need to complicate things by adding another color scheme. I think people are more than capable of basically adding their own skins and stuff, right? Mobile data support would make online playing on the Steam Deck 2 a breeze. Yes, that would be kind of cool if they added SIM support for LTE or 5G. I don't think 5G or LTE is at the point where it can maybe handle a lot of like intensive stuff, but definitely would be appreciated. And it would be nice if it's easy to buy a Steam Deck too. Think about the availability of the Steam Deck currently. It's actually quite limited. No, really, you could buy it now. You don't have to wait in a reservation line queue. You can get it in the US or Europe, but in a lot of Asian and African markets, it's unattainable without importing it. I mean, we've had the chip shortage, right? So I mean, that's okay. We kind of know why that is. The Steam Deck's already a great device that allows you to play your PC games away from your actual PC, and it's already changed the way a lot of people play PC games. It's likely that Valve will either release a Steam Deck 2, but there's no word yet of when that will happen, although we'll update you when they do. Either way, even just one or two of these suggestions could massively improve the whole experience. So yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, what do you want to come from a Steam Deck 2? What do you want? What features do you want to see in it? What improvements do you want to see in it? Let me know in the comments, really. Let me know. I'm genuinely excited and curious to see what you've got to say. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please consider coming to watch me on Twitch every day at 3 p.m. Eastern. Link down below. Blaze2k Gaming on Twitch. I stream every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's a bunch of fun. And sometimes we even stream the Steam Deck. I even stream from the Steam Deck and play games on the Steam Deck, but stream it to Twitch. So if you want to see that, and if you want to see some games and how they perform, then definitely pop over there and join me. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I love you, and I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next Steam Deck video. Take care, and enjoy your Wednesday, alright?